is sick and getting sicker by the moment. Is it any wonder then that healthcare costs continue to surge out of control, outpacing every other sector of the economy? Starbucks pays more for healthcare than it does for coffee beans. General Motors pays more for healthcare than it does for steel. 17 cents of every dollar spent in the US goes to healthcare. That's 1/6 of all spending. 48% of all federal spending is related to healthcare. Not surprisingly, as of 2018, healthcare became the biggest business in the country. And the killer, literally, is that we're not getting healthier. Why is that? Complex question. But we can boil it down to two things. One, we don't pay enough attention to our own health. Strange, our health is our greatest asset, and yet we often abuse it. We eat food that doesn't nourish, avoid basic exercise, and ignore sleep. Two, we doctors don't pay enough attention to basic patient needs. The healthcare system rewards us for doing things to people, not for people. The result? A very expensive system to treat the most obese, medicated, comorbid population in the world. Let's look at these problems a little more closely. Obesity. According to data from the National Health and Nutrition Survey, 2 in 3 adults were considered to be overweight or obese. That was in 2014. This is a serious problem in and of itself. According to a CDC study of the COVID pandemic, 78% of hospitalizations were among those overweight or obese. Overmedicated. 10 years ago, we doctors prescribed 2.4 billion drugs. Last year, it was nearly 5 billion. Did disease really double in the last 10 years? No. It's just easier to push pills than to push real solutions. Comorbidity. Let's take type 2 diabetes as our example. It's been rising at an alarming rate, especially among young people. According to the CDC, new cases are increasing at a rate of 4.8% per year. This disease can lead to harmful and expensive complications like heart attacks, kidney dialysis, and even amputations. Two groups are unhappy with how we treat these conditions: patients and doctors. Surveys show rising levels of patient dissatisfaction with the medical care they're receiving, while other surveys reveal rising rates of physician burnout. So what does the future look like? More sickness, more procedures, and more pills at an ever-increasing cost? Well, if we keep doing the same things that we've been doing that haven't worked for the last 25 years, the answer is yes. But that's the very definition of insanity. We need to take a fresh approach. It will require the combined efforts.
All right, everyone, I'm going to stop this one right here so we can continue with part 2. I'm glad if you're here. Hopefully you're back from the previous one, but maybe you might be getting this for the first time. So I'm going to ask Dr. Grant to join me here in a moment, but this is a continuation of the previous video we just did for Flashpoint Friday, and we're getting into your health and wellness because this impacts every single one of us, the message that we're sharing here. And as we talked about on the previous segment, we are not here to bash the pharmaceutical industry. As a matter of fact, there are some pharmaceuticals and meds that keep people alive. What we do want to do is discuss the fact that we can potentially reduce or eliminate by going back to the natural process of what our body wants to do. And the science is proving it time and time again. And I'm just fortunate that I have a gentleman here I'm going to bring on who was on the last segment, who's been immersed in this space for over 35 years. Tens of thousands of clients through all over the world, worked with Olympic athletes, and he's here. So please share this. Let's get this back going. Dr. Grant, we are back live again as a continuation. Now, I want to give you the opportunity because you were talking about your story, and I want to continue from what we were discussing last time. And I do want to say this as a little thing. You were in the book here.
Yes.
Our book that went Amazon bestseller, and you talk about this process in the book.
Yes.
You are the wellness ambassador of our brand, and you have 26 tips in the back of this book, which is now available on hard copy, and you can get this book. So Dr. Grant, welcome back to part two.
Thank you, Austin. Again, the normal disclaimer, since I did work for the Health Canada, the FDA, and the CDC, this talk is only for educational purpose only, not approved in any way, shape, or form by Health Canada, the FDA, or the CDC. This is designed for education purpose only, not to do diagnosis, treatment, or any of this stuff. So we talked in the first part, Austin, about the state of sick care system in this country. We're not bashing drug companies. We're not bashing physicians. We need physicians for emergency care, 100%. But we do not need allopathic medicine to put somebody on blood pressure medications, diabetes medication for the rest of their lives. That is not even scientific, to give them something to take for the rest of their lives. Because we have to move from AM, allopathic medicine, to IM, FM, LM. What's IM? Integrative medicine. What's FM? Functional medicine. What's LM? Lifestyle medicine. I'm sure you know, Austin, that the IM, FM, LM, along with the AM, can make a very perfect team to prevent and reverse disease, not to depend on adding medications and doing operations and radiations and interventions. So we'll focus only on prevention, not intervention, self-care instead of crisis care.
Right. Dr. Grant, I'm going to jump in for a second because I want people to know on the previous segment, because they may question that, but on the previous segment, you highlighted a gentleman who had blockages in his arteries. The healthcare system couldn't do anything for him. So everything you're talking about has happened in people. It's happened in people that you've worked with. And there it is. And this gentleman's alive today at 101, correct?
Yes, 20,000 clients worldwide, Austin, and we have hundreds, actually multiple hundreds of these people who had the AM allopathic medicine failed them because the 28 meds did not help this person here. 99% clogged arteries, 28 meds, 2 bypass surgery and 2 stents, and he was sent to hospice to die. They gave him 3 months in 1998. The date is there. Okay, so in 9 months, just 9 months, no meds, no bypass, no stents, 50% open, and he's still alive today over 101. And he's still with no medication. This is what I call, as you mentioned in the first segment, reversal. We can actually control symptoms and reverse symptoms naturally, just focusing on his lifestyle medicine, using integrative medicine, give him the proper herbs, proper food. He was eating the wrong food at the wrong time. As you know, you are what we eat. You are what we do not eat. And you are what we're eating us for stress. And that's what's happened to be my first doctorate from University of Toronto in 1995. Stress. It can kill us. It can cause 85% of all diseases. Yes, we need physician, but we do not need medications for sleep, for anxiety. We do not need medication for the rest of our lives for blood pressure, diabetes, because you and I help so many people with blood pressure. I'm sure we have this wellness call every second Thursday. Our upcoming call on July 1st is going to be dealing with intermittent fasting, keto fasting, keto diet, and then all of the stuff to prevent diabetes plus obesity called diabesity, and also dementia. We're going to talk about all of this stuff. We're going to talk about autophagy, how autophagy can help us to release the weight that we wanted to release, how autophagy can help us to prevent high blood pressure, diabetes, heart problems, clogged arteries, fibromyalgia, MS, lupus, pain. Naturally, there's no need for painkillers for the rest of our lives. We're not against painkillers, but we say, if this painkiller have side effect, let's find natural alternative. And I'm sure we have in the waiting room, Austin, right now, some of my students, some of my colleagues, who I would love you to invite them to come and speak with us about this topic.
Yes, and I would love to, we can send the invite to them. And the one thing that I want to bring up, which I didn't get a chance to bring up on the live show, and I wanted to bring it up with you, and because we can look today, the video depicts the statistics, the numbers, and we can look today and say, okay, here's where things are. And we can say, and that looking at that is a great way to say, all right, we can make some corrections. We can get back to the stuff that Dr. Grant's talking about. He's got the case studies, he's got the papers, he's got the proof. We can get back to those things. But the thing is, we as a society have been conditioned.
Yes.
To go to the pharma industry first. As a matter of fact, Dr. Grant, I want to say almost 74% of all physician visits involve a drug prescription.
Or two.
Because we talked about polypharmacy on the last call, where we have people that are on 5 or more drugs. But think about this. Is every one of those people that went to that doctor, did they all require a pharmaceutical drug, or was there an alternate way to maybe address a said condition?
Excellent questions, Austin. Not only that, but did the doctor take some time to explain possible side effect of that drug? Let's talk about statin, for instance, or one of the PPI. So the statin, like Zocor, Lipitor medications, can suppress high cholesterol. So doctors recommend this for somebody who have heart attack, somebody have high LDL cholesterol, and say, take this medication for basically for the rest of your life. Now, they never educate them about this medication, statin, can cause problem with something called CoQ10, coenzyme Q10, which can cause fatty liver. And when you have fatty liver, you end up with liver problem, including liver cirrhosis. So we don't want to have that. If the risk of any medication like statin, like this, high, and the benefit is this low, I would not risk taking this medication. But if there is something natural that we can give them to improve their LDL cholesterol and triglyceride, and to reduce all of this bad cholesterol, and to improve the triglyceride, and the benefit is very high and the risk is very low, actually there's no risk for those natural herbs, natural supplements, that's what physicians are supposed to be teaching clients, but they don't, because it's only, as you said, 10 minutes visit, and they have this narrow band about the medication, what they want to recommend. They don't have this. I spend with my clients, Austin, as you know, hour minimum, sometimes hour and a half, to do the assessment and to do the exact, problem that they have and assess their medication and so on. I never tell any person to stop meds. That is not my field.
Right.
Okay. I'm a toxicologist. I'm an analytical chemist. I'm a nutritionist, among many things, but I never tell anybody to stop meds. Go back, I'll improve their health, go back to their physician, and then they can deal with that. So I did not tell this person to stop medications at all. But in 9 months, they had no need for any medications by the order of it, not me. Their own physician, cardiologist, took them off all meds in 9 months. And that is what we talked about in terms of reversal. That's what we want to achieve here.
Yeah, and that's exciting because not only it wasn't an either or situation. It was like the modalities and what you used, it took time. It took 9 months, but it was effective despite the pharmaceuticals, despite the meds that were given. It still succeeded. And that is such a powerful testimony, because and I bring this up when we have this topic. We're not here to bash doctors, because I want to put the onus on us. I want to put the onus on our ability to say, don't just fix me. Let me look. I'm willing to, depending on the condition, I'm willing to look at a process of reversal, of getting back to a natural state. Let my body do what it naturally wants to do.
Exactly. And that's the reason, Austin, the biggest integrative clinic in America right now is the Cleveland Clinic. They use the IM, FM, LM, integrative medicine, functional medicine, lifestyle medicine, as a primary care from every visit that they have at Cleveland Clinic. That's why they are the leading clinic in the whole America and actually the whole world right now. And this is what every other hospital, every clinic, and every physician is supposed to be learning during the medical school, like Harvard and all of the prestigious, medical schools in the country. They focus now on IM, FM, LM. It started. I think the future of medicine, Austin, within 4 years, 5 years, is going to be IM, FM, LM, not the AM, not the allopathic medicine. It's going to be IM, integrative medicine, FM, functional medicine, LM, lifestyle medicine. This is what major clinics like Cleveland Clinic now taking the lead role across the US and across the world. In fact, they've been approached by Dubai. They give them a blank check. They said, do the model that you have done in Cleveland Clinic in Dubai. Here is a blank check for $20 billion. Do the duplicate. And they started now a program in Dubai. All of the other programs now following this lead from Cleveland Clinic. They are the leaders in the world, not just in America. We have to follow this model, Austin, before even 5 years from now. So I'm teaching my students right now courses on IM, FM, LM, available at the academyofwellness.com. They're willing to come in. We teach them all of the stuff, what I've learned from my 35 plus years, career, how to deal with IM, FM, LM before it becomes a very popular medicine. And that's a focus also on the WONM, as you know, because you've been also a guest with the World Organization of Natural Medicine, WONM.org. That is the focus right now. And this is the leading institution in the world now to lead with IM, FM, LM. And we happen to be in the forefront in this.
That's exciting to think that someday these modalities are going to be mainstream.
It will be.
The modalities that we're using today, like if you're just joining, I just was sharing that almost 74% of all doctor visits end in a pharmaceutical prescription.
Yes.
And now we're talking about other ways. And Dr. Grant, you just so eloquently talked about it. Integrative medicine, functional medicine, and lifestyle medicine. And that may be like, if you've never heard this before, you're like, what is that? Go to Dr. Grant's website, academyofwellness.com. There's more description there. But what we want to invite you to do, this is a part 2 of the show. I shared the link. We're going to be doing a complimentary wellness call. We've been doing it every 2 weeks. We started people register, and it basically says that people want a different way. They don't want to continue to be an experiment in a pharmaceutical. And I'm not saying they don't experiment. I know they do, but I'm saying you don't always know how you're going to respond to it in that respects. And that you want to look for other opportunities to heal, to live your health and vitality between an 8 and a 10 every day, if not a 10.
Yes.
I'm going to share this link. Oh, Dr. Neelam's with us here. So this is a great segue.
Oh, great. Ask her to come in for a couple of minutes. She's a very busy person in California.
Yeah.
And she focuses on wellness now on her practice. And I'm happy to say that she's now one of new students in IM, FM, LM. And she's going to be actually sharing with us on July 1st, her perspective about wellness. I was in her conference call yesterday with 26 people, and then she shared her knowledge about this field. She's an amazing, amazing doctor, amazing healer. Dr. Neelam, are you with us in the back room there?
Thank you, Austin and Dr. George, for having me. And I must say, I'm in love with everything you guys are saying. So love you both for bringing light, because America and the world is ready for our new way to heal. And we need to heal like yesterday.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. 100%. Absolutely. I know. And you were on the previous segment that we did. You had some great shares on there, and we're fortunate that you had a couple minutes to join us. Is there anything that you wanted to highlight based on some of your shares or what you've heard today? Because I know you have a wealth of knowledge and information as well.
Oh my goodness. I just want to say, I think the best way is by sharing our own stories. Yes. And I ran upstairs to give you guys the medications I was on. And the TNF blockers, the injections, Humira, and I can't even pronounce the names of the medication that I was diagnosed. In my early 30s, I worked in the major healthcare, prominent healthcare, health headquarters. I was a cash management. People call me cash queen. So I knew the very cost of medications, the cost of healthcare. But I also saw doctors like Dr. George. Like I met over, not all of them, but over 400 physicians in this one hospital. And it has been going for a while, but a lot of doctors are opening their eyes and approaches to heal cancer patients, to heal the families going through the stresses of life. There is another piece that I wanted to add based on, all the pandemic related and then the other illnesses you're talking about, but there is so much other hidden silent killers, stress related healers like anxiety. Did you guys know anxiety and depressions are #1 mental illness? And 1/3 of the people in the world never ask to get support.
Yes.
Because of the stigma of us.
Say that one more time so we can get that. How many people do not ask for support?
1/3 of the global population.
Wow.
I will give you all the stats, all the links to prove this. Yes. 1/3 of the world's population, that's over what? How much is that? 1/3 of 8 billion people. That many people never get support or never ask for support for emotional and mental health. And I was just reading last week a press release from Kaiser that they don't even have enough therapists to support emotional health.
Yes.
We are running out of enough professionals to support, especially with this post-pandemic, or we're still in pandemic, a lot of side effects of those trauma and this post-traumatic events everybody has gone through. Where are our, specialists in that? So we need to advocate for our own wellness and be here, come as a soul family to open up to receiving support. That's the number one thing. I had to put aside my ego, I know it all, and ask for support. And guess what? When you were saying, Dr. George, that this is a new approach, reversing illnesses, I'm a living example. I was my first client. I left my corporate healthcare corporation, in that AC environment, making good money, managing money. I wanted to give something back to the world, a holistic approach to heal. And that mix both, the science, the spirituality, and of course the coaching that Austin, you and I also are so passionate about, integrating coaching and mentoring. That is the missing piece in our healthcare system.
Yes.
Yeah. And we're excited to have you join us on July 1st.
Yes.
Where we're going to be talking about this. And for those of you, make sure you register, because we did run out of space for one call. So make sure you get registered for that. I'm going to share that link again. Here's the link right here. It's in the share.
Can I add one more thing to Austin before I leave? Yes. And because I'm an immigrant here, right? So I know what it takes, the stress of, starting over a life. I know, because now with this, pandemic, people are going to start over, maybe a new job, or parents are working from home, and that stress related symptoms. A lot of people, I just want to reach out and say, please don't feel you're alone. A calm parent will also, support a calm child. Kids are going back to school. So it's so important as parents that we really take these initiatives to take support so we can, raise better children.
Yeah. So important.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So important. Thank you so much for being here for a moment, Dr. Neelam. And we look forward to seeing you on July 1st with more great insight. We're going to be talking about intermittent fasting.
Yes.
And what else are we going to be talking about, Dr. Grant?
We're going to be talking about keto, healthy keto, not any kind of fat, healthy fat. We're going to talk about how to prevent and reverse diabetes, dementia, and obesity naturally with intermittent fasting and keto and all of this wonderful tips. And also we're going to add, as Dr. Neelam was saying, how to improve anxiety, panic attacks, sleep disorders. We're going to squeeze this in also in this talk, because that is a current topic that cannot be solved by adding Prozac, amitriptyline, or Xanax, or any of those antidepressant, Ativan. It cannot be solved this way. It has to be solved from a complete, holistic pictures to look at their diet, lifestyle, the water intake. You and I talk a lot about deep breathing, which is so important, so vital. When somebody have an anxiety or panic attack, they actually do shallow breathing. They go inside, inward, and they breathe from the chest. But if they breathe from the belly, that do the QBB, quantum belly breathing, they drink their water, then they exercise, and you're the master of that because you're an ex-marathon runner. We don't want them to be a marathon, runners. We want them to just walk 30 minutes a day. Just walk, brisk walk, and stretch, like simple stretch like this.
That's what I'm doing right now. I walk every morning. Just keep it simple and keep the body moving. You can do it too. And it starts and where else would you start with other than the simple steps that we all can do? We all can do.
And I do applaud you, Austin, because you're not a physician, you're not a scientist, but you have this passion to bring this wellness not only to our co-authors in this flashpoint, but also to the world. You shared this with me, and we're sharing this with the whole world. At one point, as you mentioned, we had almost 160 people on the call, and we're limited to only 100 spots. So we wanted, hopefully on July 1st, which is Canada Day, to bring more Canadians, more Americans, more people, my students from Mexico and the Caribbean, to come in on a call, to invite 5 or 10 people. Please come in at 7:25. Don't wait till 7:30, because there may not be another a spot for you open, because July 1st is a special day for me. It's Canada Day. You understand? So please.
Yeah. And I just shared the book that we co-authored and went Amazon bestseller. Dr. Grant has 26 tips in the back of that book. The hard copy is available. You can buy it. It's on Amazon. It was Amazon bestseller. The feedback that I received from that book was that I could not put it down. And this is from avid readers. They loved the stories. And I made a point to put Dr. Grant in there as the wellness ambassador, because to me, success, the turn, all that stuff, if we don't have our health and our vitality and our well-being, as Dr. Grant says, PMS, which stands for
physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. We focus on the holistic approach. PMS, nothing to do with women here. Every month. No, it's physical, mental, and spiritual health, because you got to have all of those triangle here completed. And each one is equally important, Austin. I'm sure you know that. And I applaud you again for spreading this wellness message all over the world now through this. It takes time for you to organize this call. It takes time for me to come in and invite the best scientists and doctors from all over the world to come and share with us for 10 minutes. We got the top doctors from Lafayette, Indiana, Dr. Pashali. We got Dr. Phil with us on the call. This is Dr. Phil from Indianapolis, Indiana, not the other Dr. Phil from TV. And then we have my students from Mexico, Alexia, Rodrigo, and Anna. We have our clients from the Caribbean. We have all our clients from students from Toronto. And do we have Dr. Kathy on the waiting room here to speak for a couple of minutes, or no?
No, we don't. But I know, because I need to get going, but I know she will be joining us on July 1st.
Yes.
July 1st, everyone. I put the link in there.
Yes.
Please register now. They get filled up, and we don't want you to miss a spot. I want to take a moment to thank Dr. Grant for coming on and sharing his insight. This information cannot be talked about enough. We are competing with companies that spend billions of dollars to get in front of you. And oftentimes what you need to hear is a whisper.
Yes.
And this may be that whisper for you. Although it's a whisper, it may be a powerful message for you to make a decision today. Join us for the wellness call on July 1st, where you will be hearing life-changing information that could lead to a wellness that you've never experienced, vitality you've never experienced, and it's happening in people's lives because they are taking steps. All right. You have an opportunity to hear from all the people all over the world you just mentioned put it this way, there's well over 100 years of experience in people in this space.
Yes.
It will absolutely have an impact on your health and wellness journey.
And Austin, anybody register today and send you for the registration for the July 1st call, send me their email, because they're going to be getting a gift from me, $50 off the $150 for the scan. They have to be 100% satisfied. When they do this, run the scan, they're going to show everything head to toe. We do voice analysis, voice print, like voice therapy, sound therapy, vital therapy, comprehensive therapy. You've done the scan yourself. You're young from the inside and outside. You're healthy. And it did show that you're healthy, and you're following all my advice to make you even healthier. And that's what I do for my Olympic athletes. So anybody reach out to you and register, either past registrant or new registrant, send me the information, and they're going to get $50 off. And instead of $150, it's going to be only $99, only till July 1st. That's my gift to them. Okay.
So the scan
Yes.
is a comprehensive look
Yes.
into your physical body.
Yes.
It's more than that, but it will give you an indication of
about
where
emotions
you stand.
and the emotions.
It's done remotely.
Yes.
Your emotions. It's done remotely. And the information has been measured against actual tests in the doctor's office.
MRI, PET
and they
scan.
line up.
Yes, 100% correlation.
Powerful stuff.
Thank you, Austin.
Absolutely change your health and wellness journey. And actually, Brian Quinn is on here as well.
Oh, wonderful. He's my favorite
is
student. In fact, if you can put Brian only for 1 minute to speak about, because he's been doing this test with me, he's been learning with me on this IM, FMLM. if you can put him, is he in the waiting room? You can
He's
just
not in the waiting room. He's listening on YouTube, but I wanted to
okay.
highlight
Well,
him
Brian,
because I know he's immersed
my
himself.
favorite student, Brian Quinn from Texas, and he's an amazing. He's actually in his second course right now in IMF MLM. I predict he's going to be finishing his degree by December of this year. Congratulations, Brian.
Great job, Brian. We're glad you're here. All right. So we covered a lot of information. I want to thank Dr. Neelam for coming on and sharing. You, Dr. Grant, if you're wondering what to do, there's one thing to do. Register for July 1st and join us for 1 hour. We're going to be talking about intermittent fasting, keto, amongst other things that come up because you have experts from all over the world. We're sharing their insights and tips and results that they've received from clients. And outside of the normal protocol in society. So
and then they're gonna hear from you, Austin, how you become a marathon runner and how you do the stretching and exercise daily. They're gonna learn from somebody like you, a lay person, not a scientist, not a doctor. But then we have doctors like Dr. Neelam, Dr. Kathy, Dr. Shannon Pratt. We're gonna hear from Dr. Alexia from Mexico. We're gonna hear from Dr. Ross Anderson from British Columbia. We're gonna hear from Dr. Pacelli from Lafayette, Indiana. Dr. Phil. We're going to hear from, like, each person is going to share with us 6 minutes, 7 minutes of their nuggets. And then you can adjust. They're going to be talking like a fire hose, and you're going to drink from this fire hose. In 1 hour, you're going to learn a lot more than going for a whole course. I guarantee that. And it's free. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This will change your health. It will. It absolutely will. I guarantee it. I literally do. If you come in, this will have an impact on you. We're excited because this is work that we want to get out there to the world. Everyone, have a great Friday. Make sure you register and give some love to Dr. Grant, Dr. Neelam, who are on here today.
Thank you, Dr. Neelam. Thank you, Dr. Kathy. Thank you, all of the people that with us on the team here. I do appreciate you guys. Thank you, Austin. You're a great, great leader, and we appreciate your leadership and your guidance to help our clients here to lead the best thing, not till 101, but till 111, as in my chapter in our book together, 111. Do I have only 5 seconds to give my 5 tips on this chapter?
Yes.
A, B, C, D, E. Okay. A, attitude of gratitude. B, belief that you can do this and you can live till 111. C, commitment. You got to commit to wellness. You got to commit to what you eat, what you don't eat, and what's eating you. And then D, determination. You have to determine to do the walking, the drinking the water, the belly breathing, avoiding all of the toxic food and the bad food, avoid pesticides, avoid all of the stuff. And then E, enthusiasm. It comes from a Latin word called entheos. It's from within God. You wake up in the morning and list 5 things you're grateful about and be enthusiastic about that you're so grateful about. And before you go to bed, list 5 things you're grateful about. That's what Dr. Neelam and I talk about a lot. Dr. Kathy talk about that as well. You also talk a lot about these things all the time, about having all of the A, B, C, D, E. Correct, Austin?
Correct. Dr. Grant, I'm going to give you a proposition.
Yes.
I'm going to offer you 1,000 people right now.
Okay.
1,000 people. And they will carry out any one of your wishes.
Wow.
So if I said, here's 1,000 people for you.
Yes.
You can get on your Zoom call and they will do anything that you ask them to do.
Oh my goodness, that would be powerful.
With one disclaimer. There's always a catch, right?
Yes.
You have to feed them the best food. And you have to make sure they feel good about themselves.
Yes.
That they're nutritious.
Yes.
They're healthy. And if you do that investment, they will do anything that you want them to do.
You know, Austin, I'm so happy. I'm so happy with that proposition because our World Organization of Natural Medicine, WNM, have a goal this year before December of 2021 to have 1,000 new member to follow this integrative medicine. So if we can follow your footsteps here and we have 1,000 people that just bring each one of them 100 to this wellness movement here, we're going to have 100,000 people here. 100,000 people. That's huge.
But here's my proposition. I'm not done. So all you have to do is feed them and make sure they're healthy, and they'll do anything that you want, right?
Yes.
So your body has over 37 trillion cells.
Yes.
That are willing to do anything.
100%.
Ask them to do. And all you
Yes.
need to do is give them the
Yeah.
right nourishment.
100%.
Love
I
them.
agree.
Feed them.
All you got to do is just feed their
water.
mitochondria. Just feed their mitochondria, and then they can produce the best energy, the best ATP, and they have high energy, high vitality like you and I and the other people. And we have a 1,000 wellness ambassador, not just Austin and Dr. Grant and Dr. Kathy and Dr. Neelam and Dr. Ross and Dr. Pacelli and Dr. Phil. We have 1,000 people pushing the cart. For me, it's very hard to push 1,000 cars, but for 1,000 people to push the cart together, huge, Austin, my goodness. I wish this proposition becomes true one day before the end of December, because that's the key here, Austin.
It will. It's done.
Let's do it.
All right, everyone.
Accept the challenge.
All right. Be good to yourself today. We'll see you soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bye for
Remember,
now.
live, love, learn, let go, and leave a legacy. Thank you, Austin. I appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Love and hugs, everyone. Bye-bye.